Hey guys, I know it's been a while since our last update, and I was really touched by the fact that a couple of people posted comments wanting to know where I was and how I was doing. Yes, I'm still here. Unfortunately, I just got a little bit busy with my day job, and then also I decided apparently that it would be fun to tear my meniscus, so I was out for a little bit of surgery and some now in the wonderful world of physical therapy, but recovering well. Everything's going along good. I've done a lot of updates though to the program, so today we're going to go through three major updates. The first is fleets, so everything having to do with fleets is there now, being able to add ships to fleets, remove ships from fleets, do combat with fleets, move them around, all that kind of good stuff. Repair during the shipyard phase, so both the repairing of units as well as the repairing of bases, both with tugs and self-repair. The field repair phase is also now implemented, allowing you to use both repair ships and tugs that are assigned the repair mission. So without any more updates, let's go ahead and actually jump into it. Okay, before we dive into fleets, let's talk a little bit about, I did change the selection screen itself. So now when you click on a particular hex, you'll be able to see the fixed units. You'll be able to see the units that have movement. So we're in the operational movement phase right now. If there were some units here that had already used up their movement, that would be indicated down here. I'm going to have the action panels here now for everything that you can do with that thing, with the objects that are there. If there's a fleet, you'll get a box for the fleet. And so yeah, now you have the ability to deal with fleet. So you can see here I've got a fleet that I could select and do things with. But let's talk a little bit about setting up and editing fleet. So if I've got a hex here and I wanted to put some of these units together in a fleet, I can just hit edit fleets. I can see right now they're all independent units, so I want to make a new one. We'll make the east fleet here, and then I can just drag in the units that I want to be part of this particular fleet. When I hit close, now I can see that yep, the east fleet is here. Again, I can still grab independent units, form a stack and make them move. Or I can actually grab the fleet and form a stack with it, and you can do a mix. So I can grab a couple of units, I can grab the fleet, say I want to form a movement stack with that. Now I can see I've got the fleet, I've got those units, and if I choose to move them, everything works as it did before, except now, you know, the fleet is moving as well. Of course, you can move the fleet independently of it. When you have units that are in a fleet and you want to make them independent, I can hit them edit here, and so now I can grab the units out of the fleet and move in. Now one thing you'll note here is there's kind of a purplish tint to units that are in a fleet, and that'll become more apparent why I did that here in a few minutes when we get into combat and things like that. But you know, here if I try to actually move, if I try to actually move this fleet, it's not going to let me select it because this unit has no movement available, and the reason is, of course, it's got these non-deployed mobile bases in it. So if I take those out of the fleet, then now when I can choose to form a stack with that fleet and move it. Of course, now it says it only has a movement range of 1, and that's because there was an FRD in that fleet. So again, if I wanted to, wrong hex. If I wanted to edit these fleets, I could take that FRD out, and now, of course, this fleet should have its full movement of 6 available to it. Fleets can also be used in reaction movement here. So if I take a quick look here, we have this battle group here with some units in it. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take this frigate and we'll take the battle group. We'll form a stack with them, and we're going to move on the Federation 3rd Fleet here. And now it will let me know that, yep, I want to react. And here's why you can see the tinging that I was doing on there. So here when I'm looking at the reaction, I can see that these are all the units that are coming in as part of that fleet. Here's the one that was independent. Likewise, on the Federation side, the 3rd Fleet could react, which has these units in it. But there's also this additional unit that was just in the hex. So I'm going to choose to not react. We'll let that pop in. And so now we can see that a couple of things have happened. One, the units got pinned, and I can see that there are pinned units inside of that fleet. So if we actually go in and edit the fleet, we can see that, you know, well, in this case, all the units are actually pinned with the ones that have come across there. So if I choose to end movement and we go ahead and move into the combat phase, I can, as the Federation player here, I can choose to withdraw. Withdrawal is, I'm not going to go ahead and do it just because I want to actually show the combat, but I could choose to withdraw the entire fleet, or I could withdraw just a unit. Actually, we'll do that. We'll say, yes, I do want to withdraw. We're going to say, yep, we're opposing them. We're just going to take one of the units that was in the fleet, let it withdraw, and now, of course, it's not in that fleet anymore. And then we proceed on to combat. We'll not use any command points. And again, and the reason for that tinging is just so it's a little bit easier for you, not that it really matters from a combat sense, whether or not they're in the fleet or not. It was just to make it a little bit easier for you while you're playing to know, okay, which of these ships are coming from the fleet and which ones are not. So let's go ahead and run through a quick round of combat so we can look at retreats and retrograde movement as well. I'll go ahead and throw everybody in. Okay, and so now I can choose to retreat, and of course I only have units that were in that fleet available to me, and so now I'll actually see, well, sorry, I gotta hit close here. I'll actually see the whole fleet counter did retreat, and of course since I had withdrawn earlier, it had to retreat to the same hex. Now that we are in the retrograde phase, it will let me pick the entire battle group, since obviously it was involved in combat. And so I can form a stack for it and do retrograde movement with that fleet. Okay, so let's talk about repair now. So here we are in phase 2, the shipyard phase, and I have the ability to see quickly any hex that has both a repair facility and one or more crippled units. So it already goes ahead and filters out anything that didn't have a crippled unit, or places where you have crippled units that don't have repair facilities. You can see the current state of your treasury, and you can scroll through and see that, all right, in this space, in this hex here, I've got one battle station. It can do up to 4 repair points. There's a D6 and an F5 that's crippled. Here I've got a star base. There's both Klingon and Lyran ships that are here that are disabled. Here I have a FRD that's out of supply, so you'll note that it has 0 repair points, so it's not able to actually repair anything. Here I've got some crippled star bases and battle stations, as well as a star base that's taken some SID steps and a crippled ship. Of course, since this one's only taken SID steps, it still has its repair points available, so it can repair that cruiser. And same thing here, I can kind of pop through and I can see, yep, I want to go ahead and repair these guys. As I click it, you can see the treasury clicks down, the number of repair points available in that hex clicks down. So, I'm out of repair points now, so I can't repair this guy. It will let star bases and battle stations repair allied ships, so I can repair that Lyran destroyer as well as the Klingon ships that are in that hex. When we move on to the second part of the shipyard phase here, I can now do repairs of bases. So again, I only had one hex that had damaged bases in it that also had facilities for being able to repair it. So here I can see I've got the star base that has some SID steps on it. Of course, it's capable of repairing itself. So if I click on that, it's going to repair its 2 SID steps, and I'll see my treasury go down. It repaired 2 SID steps on there. Of course, I can also have a tug that's in that space become a repair tug. I'm going to say, yep, I'm going to make it or give it the repair base mission and repair that star base. And so now that star base is fully repaired. If I grab another tug here and say I want to work on the star base, that one did uncripple it, but of course it still has a bunch of SID steps on it because that tug could only apply to repair 2 SID steps, one to uncripple it and one to bring it up there. Of course, now that this is uncrippled, it still cannot self-repair because you can't do that. You can't, if you were crippled at the start of the turn, you cannot self-repair. Likewise, you can only use one tug on a base at a time. So if I select this tug, I won't actually be able to select that star base again. But I can go ahead and repair that battle station. And now I am ready to move on to the rest of the shipyard phase. Okay, so let's talk about field repair now. So with field repair, obviously you can deploy the repair ships for your empires to hexes that have crippled ships in them that are also strategic movement nodes. But of course, if you have available tugs in your capital that have not been used for anything else yet, you could assign them the repair mission. So here it's giving you the option to set those. So I'm going to say, yep, I'm going to put this TGB as a repair tug. Of course, if I do that, I can't do the TGA because you can only do one. So we'll set one of each as repair ships. And so now those get added to my queue here. And so now I can pick where I want these repair ships to go. So I did go ahead and place a few crippled ships out at different bases. So here, if I pick a repair ship, it's going to let me see the valid places where I can choose to move it to. So I'll go ahead and we'll send one repair ship there. Actually, we'll go ahead and we'll send 2 repair ships there and a repair ship and my repair tug down here. Likewise for the Lyrans, we can send those. Now, of course, repair ships, unlike bases, can only repair units for your empire, and now you get a similar view as to what we had earlier. I've got the repair ships and repair tugs that have been deployed, and the units that are available to get repaired by those. And of course, you can see it's spending the money. I did kind of cheat and skip forward in time here. That's why everybody's banks are showing as 0. Yeah, so those were the main things that I wanted to show today. I did also do some refactoring under the hood on the way supply is calculated. So now supply happens much, much faster, which is good since, obviously supply gets checked a lot during each game. The next thing that I intend to work on is everything about reserve movement. So establishing your reserve fleets, actually moving during reserve movement, and of course removing the reserve markers. So that will be my next update, which will hopefully be coming much faster than the gap we had between the last one and this one. Hope you enjoyed. Looking forward to hearing everybody's comments about how things have done so far. Thanks and have a great day.